Video after the election, because yeah, for any of you that know me or have seen my channel or whatever, I'm trans, my wife is trans, and I'm seeing a lot of people going, oh, well, you don't need to be scared, blah, 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 Trump's not gonna XYZ PDQ. For me, I'm terrified for a few reasons. I am trans. My wife is trans. We are in a polyamorous relationship. My wife and our partner are of Hispanic descent. We're poor. That's a lot of things that can go wrong, especially when you have a president and vice president who are so against anybody who's not white, rich, and cisgender.
We're also not Christian.
Oh yeah, and we're also not Christian. So, I'm scared because not so much Trump when it comes to the LGBT stuff, but Pence. Pence is completely okay with conversion therapy. Trump has kind of given mixed views. Multiple times he said he's okay with the LGBT community. Other times he said he's not. People are citing the fact that he was holding a pride flag upside down that apparently makes him anti-LGBT, when it's like, no, he's just an idiot. Because I'm pretty sure it said LGBT for Trump written on it. So, Trump is just a rich racist idiot. When it comes to the racism part, I'm also scared because I've always been very disappointed with, I say, my fellow Caucasians, because even though I look white, I have Native American in me. I'm, like to prefer to say I'm Norse when it comes to my white heritage, because yeah, I have German and other European, but on my dad's side of the family it's predominantly Norwegian, and we were able to trace back to as close to Viking era as you can really trace back. So I don't really associate myself very well with the American white community as such, like as that title, because I've never considered myself the same as them, because it's very, the stereotype of white people being racist is still very prevalent. Everybody thought Obama being elected into office meant that we were in a post-racial America, when last night just proved that's a load of bullshit. I'm scared because so many people thought this election was a joke. Over 10,000 people in New York wrote in Harambe, and this was prevalent in, I think, every state. There were ballots, quite a few, that had Harambe or some other joke candidate written instead of an actual candidate.
He had over 50,000 votes.
Yeah, he had over 50,000 votes, my wife just said. We're terrified, because those who could have helped get us a better option, I mean, Hillary wasn't ideal, but voting third party is a waste. I believe it was Florida. This was proven even more so because I believe Trump got Florida. Or there was a state where Trump and Hillary were literally so close, it was like a 0.1 percentage difference or something like that, where it was still a very minor separation. And the other votes were 2% for Johnson, not Stein, the other one. So if those 2% hadn't thrown their vote away, instead of, oh, well, I don't like either of them, so I'm going to vote third party, there's a lot of states that it would have gone to Hillary instead. The race was that close the entire time. Only 55% of United States citizens voted. That's a whole bunch of people that believed that their silence was more important than making sure Trump didn't make it into office. So many people decided anything was better than Hillary or Trump, and that fucked us over big time. Obviously, there's still affidavit votes and stuff like that have to be counted, and that's until January 20th. They have until January 20th to hopefully get enough of the ballots that have to be essentially hand counted to potentially tip the scale for Hillary. Because Jill Stein, and as an anti-vaxxer who thinks that holistics and crystal magic are the only thing we need, and we don't need medicine and science. She's a nut job. Johnson is creepy in so many ways. Trump was not the right choice. Out of the two, Hillary should have been, because despite everything bad she's done, she also did a lot of good. So, racism won, xenophobia won, just hatred in general won the election. And that scares the shit out of me. I don't pass right now. So, anti-trans people could decide to beat the shit out of that weird tranny. Same with my wife. Same with any trans people who are open or don't pass or dare to open their mouth and correct somebody on their pronouns, or even just, I think that person might be trans. I'm gonna hurt them. Trans people are in danger more than they have been in the last, I think, 20 years. Because, yeah, there's still a lot of anti-trans hate around the world, but now every bigot that voted for Trump now believes that they are justified in their actions. And that's going to show very clearly within the next 4 years. And hopefully we don't have a Bush repeat, and that Trump will only be in office for 4 years. Because I am ashamed of my skin color right now. I am ashamed of the country I have lived my entire life in. I am ashamed to consider myself a white American. And I am disgusted by the voting system last night. And as you can tell, looking at my wife, we're scared. A lot of people are scared because white supremacy won. Rich white supremacy won. And I know there's going to be a lot of videos about this sort of thing, a lot of posts, a lot of, posts on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Vines. The internet is going to explode with fear. And the streets are going to explode with hatred. And time will tell how bad it really is. Obviously, there's only certain things that a president and vice president are able to do because they don't go, oh, I'm going to make this law and it's going to happen. There's a process. But the fact that it's even a possibility is even more frightening. Because, yeah, they may start with the illegal immigrants and sending them out. What's to stop them from kicking out everyone who doesn't look white and doesn't speak with a foreign accent? This could get very bad very quickly. And a whole bunch of bigots helped make it happen. So, if you watched through this whole thing, or if you skipped ahead or whatever, right now everybody needs to work together. The LGBT community needs to stand together. Black Lives Matter movement, Muslims, Syrians, everyone that is affected by this decision in a bad way. We all need to work together. I really, really hope that minorities, any minority, decides to work together. We need to stop these stupid wars, like the, blacks versus cops, and, all of the anti-trans behavior, people getting beaten up and killed. Not just trans, obviously, but just everyone that wants the hatred to stop has to work even harder now in any possible way they can while still trying to keep themselves safe. So the next couple months we have for that to sink in, because he doesn't even go into office until around January 20th. That's still 2 months for us to try and work on whatever we can to try and cushion the blow. Try and do the best good we can before the worst president of our generations steps in. At least for those of us that weren't alive for like Nixon and Reagan and shit. Because a lot of people in the US right now that are old enough to vote didn't. A lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds didn't think their vote mattered. So what's the point? Or voted for third party, or wrote in a joke and didn't take this election as seriously as they should have. So, if you're scared, I completely understand. If you're furious, I completely understand. And we just need to work together and see what we can do to try and alleviate the pain that we're going to experience for the next 4 years.